right, so I know I had some questions. Let's address those questions in this video. The water, corn damage. Yes, we do have some corn that is damaged and probably will not make it here with this wet hole. You can see some corn that's snapped off there. The deer, I think, might be running in and out of here. We got 4 plants there that are pretty well finished. So the water is going down. It is starting to recede in this wet spot. I'm on the calendar. I could plant radishes from now till any day basically. I can get down here and you can see it's getting a little scummy, but it has receded. This was backed way up into the corn. You see a lot of these bottom leaves now have a lot of yellow. There's more so over here. Let's take a little bit of a walk today. It is going down. You can see the ground again, but it's not going to last. The reason I say it's not going to last, we just got the advisory for some flash flooding for Wednesday and Thursday, so there is some more rain on the way. The corn, I thought it was a snake the way it sounded swimming in there. The corn here on this edge is done. You see how it's just turned yellow. It was too wet, waterlogged for too long. Not very much space, but enough of it. There's enough of it. This field's kind of turned into a total mess this year. This whole field is just a mess. We are going to get some corn out of it, but not what I was hoping. I really like bottomland soil, and I had high hopes for this field. And oh, look at all the mosquitoes. Holy cow. So yeah, it's just a mosquito breeding ground right now. So the water is headed down, and I don't know for how long. So we do have some corn damage. I'm seeing on some of the leaves, you walk a little bit around in this field in the middle, I am seeing on the leaves evidence of a lack of nitrogen. Probably has something to do with all the rain. So such a shame. I'll let you guys know in harvest what this field does, but I had high hopes for it, and I just don't think it's going to be the field that I thought it was in the spring. But whatever it is, we're going to roll with it either way. So we can plant our radishes. So as soon as this dries up enough, going to come back in with the 45 Vibra-Shank, rip it around again because there's some weeds, grass, rip it up again. We're going to plant the radishes pretty thick. I'm going to go the maximum rate that they recommend. We're going to just load this up with those tillage radishes, and I'm going to throw a lot of loose hay and straw on top of it just to help add some more organic matter. Keep adding to this hole here. Get it? I don't know. It's a shame. It's a shame for this field. So it is what it is. All right, so I get asked every so often what this little building is right here. I did do videos on it, but just to recap for people, this is the well house. This was an old well house or pump house, whatever you want to call it here for the farm. This little building and this well that's in here served the needs for the 2 farmhouses and the dairy operation that was here. This flooded. This was underwater. You see there's cement block there. It was all the way up, and it was running out over the top of this step. So it was deep enough that it was higher than a cement block. So I just have some buckets in here now. They're just empty buckets, just kind of a storage area. But I want to get this well working, because if I'm going to get cattle here, that is one of the main things I need. I need to get water in the barn. So why did we drill a new well when this well still works and still functions? The pipe, it's a pretty far distance from this well house to the houses, and somewhere under the ground the pipe broke. It ruptured, and they couldn't find exactly where it ruptured. It did break further up the road. That was in that one hard winter when it was very cold that we had issues. So we drilled a brand new well, and this one was disconnected and shut off. I don't see any reason to abandon it just yet, because the waterer in there is actually right sitting there where the 2 buildings come together. So if you were to dig a trench, run a new pipe, you could easily get water. So I know I talked about this. I was going to do it last winter. Why didn't I? The electrical. My dad was an electrician for a while. I had him here looking at it. I want to get a regular electrician or somebody that knows something about wells. Look at the wiring. So that's a mess. And if you follow it, I'll show you where my confusion is. I can't make sense of that. But here is the overhead wire, and that goes to the milk house. I will meet you in the milk house. Okay, so looking overhead here with all these overhead wires, the 5 o'clock somewhere crowd was working for the cable company. Look what they did when they ran the cable back here. The cable is sitting on this overhead wire that goes in the milk house. This was the wire that goes in to feed the well, so we're almost there. All right, so it's very dark in the milk house. Anyway, that line comes in here from the well. It is disconnected, and it goes into this junction box, okay, with the fuses. Don't like it, not safe. It's all disconnected right now, it's all off. Then it goes from this junction box to this junction box, another one with the glass fuses. Then it goes along the top of here, there's a run, and then it goes into this junction box, then over to this one, and then finally in that one, and then off to the panel box. Why they did it that way, I have no idea. But we're not going to use it. We're not going to try to restore this. Look at the wiring in this junction box here. So that is a mess. That is not safe. That's a fire hazard. Hence the reason I have the main shut off to the barn. There's no power in here. The only reason I turn it on is if I want to turn the lights on for where the stalls were, if I ever need to go in there. That's the only circuit that is live that I can turn on and off. But it's a mess, and we don't even know at this point to follow it. Everything is back fed and front fed and fed from here to there to over to there, just to get power to the well. So once we figure out a little bit about the well itself, I'm thinking it's a 220 volt sub pump. I want to get an electrician here to look it over and suggest something, but we're going to run a new run from the panel box on its own breaker, and we're going to come in here with a new 220 line, and basically probably somewhere in here we'll probably remove this and put a new we'll get a GE or a Square D box with a switch, have a cutoff right here, and run our new 220 line and connect it with the existing that goes to the well. I don't think we're going to mess around with running a new overhead cable. That one's okay. It'll work. So right here I want to have a shut off. So when I'm not using the well, if there's no animals here, it's going to be shut off right here. Just a nice switch, brand new work. Get rid of this. I have no idea what they were doing. They got a light switch hanging, or a light fixture hanging here. We've got a plug there, we've got a plug there, wires coming in and out. I can see the bare copper right there. Just not safe. This was all live when I moved here, and I was smart enough to look it over and realize that this barn is in danger of the wiring is in danger of shorting out and burning this barn down. All the years, nobody thought to shut some of these breakers off. There's still wires in the panel box that are hooked up that are on breakers that go to places in the barn that there's nothing there. The wires just end, like for the hay drying fan, all kinds of different stuff that are still, the gutter cleaner, stuff that's still hooked up and still live, that anybody that might not know what they're doing throws a switch and poof. So I was worried about it, and I took took it upon myself to shut everything down and say, leave it off. It's not safe. So I did cause a little ruckus with the guy that used to farm here. He used to get electric here at this outlet to run the hay elevator, and this plug here is so bad. You might be able to see it there. It's actually black from sparking and stuff. This outlet, the prongs inside are gone. The bottom one is half decent, but they're loose. So this outlet is no good. It's taped. It's hooked into lights. It's hooked into another light there. It's running down. Here's an example. This here, you see it's cut off, but it's still hooked up in the panel box. So I don't... it's a total rewire at this point. This winter, I'm even going to remove these so people don't get the idea that they can just come and reuse it like they've been trying to do. So for safety's sake, I'm going to pull it all out so it's not even there. Receptacle here, that is in real rough shape. It's all rusty and corroded. It's loose. You plug something in, the plug falls out. So no, we're not playing around with not playing around with this wiring ever again. So, all right, guys, hope this was interesting. Just a little bit of what's going on today. So thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow.